Sharon Osbourne, known for her unfiltered commentary and bold personality, steps onto the set of The View with her trademark confidence, ready to dive into the day's hot topics. The studio buzzes with anticipation as the audience settles in, sensing that today's episode might deliver the kind of fireworks Osbourne is famous for. The discussion quickly turns to Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, a couple that has sparked global debates since stepping back from royal duties. Osbourne, never one to shy away from controversy, is poised to share her take, and the panel comprised of Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and guest co-host Anna Navarro is ready to engage. The topic at hand is Harry's recent public statements about his struggles within the royal family, his mental health challenges, and his decision to forge a new path in the United States. The conversation starts civilly enough, with Whoopi offering a measured perspective on Harry's right to speak his truth, but Osbourne's expression suggests she's not here to play diplomat. As the discussion heats up, Joy Behar chimes in, defending Harry's vulnerability as a sign of strength, while Sunny Hostin points out the systemic issues within the monarchy that may have pushed Harry to his breaking point. Osbourne, however, is visibly unimpressed, her eyes narrowing as she leans forward, ready to unleash her opinion. She begins by acknowledging Harry's privilege, pointing out that as a prince, he's had opportunities most could only dream of, and she questions the validity of his grievances. He's got the world at his feet, she says sharply, her British accent cutting through the chatter. Why is he always whining about how tough life is? It's not like he's living on the streets. The audience gasps, sensing the shift in tone, as Osbourne doubles down, calling Harry out for what she perceives as ingratitude. The panel tries to interject, but Sharon's on the roll, her voice rising as she recounts her own struggles in the cutthroat world of entertainment, contrasting them with Harry's cushioned upbringing. The tension is palpable now, with Sunny Hostin pushing back, arguing that privilege doesn't negate personal pain, especially when it comes to mental health. Osbourne scoffs, dismissing the argument as woke nonsense, and the audience erupts in a mix of cheers and boos. The moderators attempt to steer the conversation, but Sharon's not having it. She's here to make a point, and she's not backing down. She pivots to Harry's decision to step away from the royal family, calling it a slap in the face to the Queen's legacy and accusing him of chasing fame over duty. The panel is now in full debate mode, with voices overlapping as Joy Behar accuses Sharon of oversimplifying a complex situation. Osbourne, unfazed, leans into her critique, questioning Harry's motives and suggesting he's been seduced by Hollywood's glitz. The audience is eating it up, some nodding in agreement while others shake their heads in disbelief. Sharon's words are sharp, unrelenting, and deliberately provocative, as she paints Harry as a figure who's turned his back on his heritage for personal gain. The segment is teetering on the edge of chaos, with the co-hosts struggling to maintain order as Osbourne's comments grow bolder. By the time the first commercial break looms, it's clear this is no ordinary episode. Sharon Osbourne is setting the stage for a verbal showdown that's about to go viral. The producers, sensing the moment, let the cameras linger on her defiant expression, knowing they've captured television gold. As The View returns from the break, the energy in the studio is electric, with the audience buzzing and the panelists visibly bracing for round two. Sharon Osbourne sits back in her chair, a slight smirk playing on her lips, as if she knows she's stirred the pot and is ready for whatever comes next. Whoopi Goldberg, ever the seasoned moderator, tries to reset the conversation, urging everyone to focus on the broader implications of Harry's story, mental health awareness and the pressures of public life. But Osbourne isn't interested in the broader picture. She's zeroed in on Harry, and she's not letting go. She launches into a scathing critique, calling him the poster boy of white privilege, a phrase she's used before in a 2021 interview with Bill Maher. The line lands like a grenade, drawing sharp inhales from the audience and a stunned silence from the panel. Sunny Hostin is the first to respond, her voice measured but firm, pointing out that Harry's openness about his mental health struggles has helped destigmatize the issue for millions. Osbourne rolls her eyes, unimpressed, and counters that Harry's platform gives him an unfair advantage to play the victim while others without his resources suffer in silence. The audience is divided as some clap in support of Sharon's bluntness, While others murmur disapproval at her dismissal of Harry's pain, Joy Behar jumps in, accusing Osbourne of lacking empathy, which only fuels Sharon's fire. Empathy? She snaps. I've got empathy for people who don't have private jets and multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix. The jab is a clear reference to Harry and Meghan's high-profile media ventures, and it elicits a mix of laughter and gasps from the crowd. Ana Navarro, the guest co-host, tries to pivot to Meghan's perspective, noting the racism she faced within the royal family, as revealed in the 2021 Oprah interview, but Sharon shuts it down, echoing her past defense of Piers Morgan by saying, "Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But don't cry racism every time someone disagrees with you." The comment reignites the tension from her 2021 fallout on The Talk, where a similar defense led to her exit after a heated exchange with Cheryl Underwood. The panel is now a powder keg, with Sunny Hostin visibly frustrated, pointing out that Osbourne's remarks risk trivializing serious issues of race and privilege. Sharon, however, doubles down, arguing that Harry's public complaints are a betrayal of the monarchy's stoic tradition. She paints a vivid picture of her own working-class roots in London, contrasting them with Harry's silver spoon life, and accuses him of floundering in America while chasing relevance. The audience is fully engaged, some shouting encouragement, others booing. As the debate spirals into a clash of worldviews, Whoopi tries to interject with a call for civility, but Sharon's momentum is unstoppable. She mocks Harry's Invictus Games praise, saying, "Sure, it's great, but it doesn't make you Nelson Mandela." The line is a direct hit, and the audience erupts, some in laughter, others in outrage. By now, social media is lighting up with clips of the exchange, with hashtags like #Sharon vs Harry trending as viewers pick sides. The producers, thrilled with the ratings potential, let the chaos unfold, knowing this moment will dominate headlines. As the segment nears its end, Osbourne sits back, satisfied, while the panel scrambles to regain control, setting the stage for an even more explosive third act. The third segment of The View opens with a palpable shift in the room's dynamic as Sharon Osbourne has clearly taken the reins, and the other co-hosts are struggling to keep up. Whoopi Goldberg, sensing the need to ground the conversation, introduces a viewer question from social media: does Sharon think Prince Harry has any redeeming qualities, or is she just here to tear him down? The question is a deliberate attempt to challenge Osbourne's relentless critique, and the audience leans in, eager for her response. Sharon pauses, her expression softening for a moment, as if weighing whether to offer an olive branch. She acknowledges Harry's work with the Invictus Games, calling it admirable, but quickly adds, "It's not enough to erase the damage he's done to his family." The backhanded compliment draws murmurs from the crowd, and Sunny Hostin seizes the opportunity to push back, arguing that Harry's efforts to modernize the monarchy and address mental health are steps toward progress. Osbourne scoffs, dismissing the idea of Harry as a reformer. "He's not modernizing anything, he's just cashing in on his title," she says, her voice dripping with disdain. She points to Harry and Meghan's public appearances, like their hand-holding at the Invictus Games, as disingenuous and calculated for media attention. The audience is split, with some clapping for Sharon's candor and others shaking their heads at her harshness. Joy Behar tries to lighten the mood with a quip about Harry's charming beer pong skills, referencing a 2012 anecdote Sharon once shared about meeting him at Buckingham Palace, but Sharon doesn't take the bait, instead steering the conversation back to her core grievance, Harry's betrayal of the royal family. She paints a vivid picture of the monarchy's historical resilience, invoking her own British pride and her admiration for Queen Elizabeth II, whom she met multiple times. The discussion takes a personal turn as Sharon shares a story about her mother's love for the royals, contrasting it with Harry's disrespectful tell-all interviews. Ana Navarro jumps in, challenging Sharon's loyalty to an institution that's been criticized for its rigidity and colonial past. The exchange escalates as Sharon fires back, accusing the panel of being too American to understand the monarchy's cultural significance. The audience roars, some in support, others in protest, as the debate becomes a clash of national identities. Sunny Hostin tries to refocus on Meghan's experiences as a woman of color, but Sharon waves it off, reiterating her stance from 2021 that Meghan's claims of racism were overblown. The room is now a battleground of ideologies, with Osbourne holding court as the unapologetic provocateur. She leans into her reputation, tossing in a few expletives for emphasis, which elicits shocked laughter from the crowd. The producers, sensing the segment's viral potential, keep the cameras rolling, capturing every heated exchange. As the debate rages on, Sharon delivers a final zinger. Harry wants to be a rock star, but he's just a spoiled prince playing dress-up. The line lands like a thunderbolt, and the audience erupts, some cheering, others booing, as Whoopi calls for a commercial break. The stage is set for a final showdown, with Osbourne showing no signs of backing down. As The View heads into its final segment, the atmosphere is charged with raw energy, the audience hanging on every word as Sharon Osbourne prepares to wrap up her takedown of Prince Harry. Whoopi Goldberg, visibly exasperated but determined to maintain order, opens the floor for final thoughts, urging the panel to find some common ground. Sharon, however, is in no mood for compromise. She leans forward, her eyes gleaming with conviction, and delivers a blistering summary of her stance. Harry's actions, from his Oprah interview to his memoir, are a public tantrum that undermines the monarchy's legacy. She accuses him of exploiting his royal status for fame, pointing to his Netflix deals and public appearances as evidence of a grift. The audience is a mix of gasps and applause, with some fans of Sharon's no-holds-barred style cheering her on, while others bristle at her relentless attack. Sunny Hostin tries one last time to defend Harry, emphasizing his vulnerability and discussing his mother's death and the trauma of growing up in the royal spotlight. But Sharon cuts her off, saying, "Plenty of people lose their mothers, so Harry's not special." The line is brutal, drawing sharp criticism from Joy Behar, who calls it heartless. Osbourne shrugs, unfazed, and doubles down, arguing that Harry's public airing of family grievances is a choice, not a necessity. She brings up her own tumultuous life via her battles with mental health, her firing from the talk, and her loyalty to her late husband Ozzy Osbourne as proof that one can endure hardship without whining to the world. The personal angle resonates with some in the audience, who see Sharon's toughness as authenticity, while others view it as a lack of compassion. Anna Navarro makes a final plea for empathy, noting that Harry's decision to step back was about protecting his family, but Sharon dismisses it as crocodile tears. The debate reaches its climax as Sharon delivers a parting shot. Harry can play the hero in America, but in England, he's just the prince who ran away. The audience erupts, a cacophony of cheers, boos, and gasps, as Whoopi throws her hands up, signaling the end of the segment. The cameras pan across the panel, capturing Sunny's frustration, Joy's incredulity, and Sharon's triumphant smirk. As the show cuts to its closing music, social media is already ablaze with clips of the exchange, with commentators on X calling it Sharon Osbourne's masterclass in shade and others decrying her as heartless. The producers know they've struck gold, with the episode destined to dominate headlines and fuel debates for days. Sharon, ever the showwoman, exits the stage to a mix of applause and jeers, leaving an indelible mark on The View and cementing her reputation as a fearless provocateur. The fallout from this episode, both online and in the media, will keep the conversation alive long after the cameras stop rolling.